In this video we're going to look at making decisions. I'm going to do a very simple maths test that's going to ask the user to answer a question, and we're going to decide whether the user has got it right or wrong. So have a look at this program. I have a variable called answer which will store an integer. I then got a bit of text here, a maths test, a little bit of underline and a blank line, followed by the question, what is 8 times 16? That's too hard for me. Let's have 8 plus 16. I can answer that one. And I get the answer from the user. Answer gets the value of console.readline. So we get the answer from the user. What we then need to do is to decide whether the answer that the user has entered is correct. Now 8 plus 16, using my math skills, is 24. So we need to work out whether what the user has typed in is 24. The first thing I'm going to do is change what the user has typed in into an integer. Now we didn't do this before, but there's a function called cint in VB which stands for change to integer. So what this will do, because I need this to be a number. I need what the user has typed in to be a number. Usually what the user types in is stored as a string or treated as a string. So putting this cint around the console.readline changes whatever stores whatever they've entered as an integer. Now of course if the user is an idiot and types in a word, then it's not going to work and the program will still crash. But what it will do is force if they've typed in numbers, it will force it to be stored as a number. Why we need that is something we talk about later on in the course. At the moment, don't worry too much, but it's a good habit to get into using cint. So that's just changing it to an integer. So you see my answer should store an integer. That's just making sure that what's stored in there is an integer. So we're posing the question to the user and we're getting their answer. And what we have to do is to decide whether it's right. So I'm going to ask a question. If answer is equal to 24, then console.writeline, you are a maths star. Okay, let's see if that works. So I'm going to test this. I'm going to run it. It says, what is 8 plus 16? I think it's 24. You are a math star. Excellent. But what happens if they get it wrong? Let's try that. So we can see the program there. 25. Okay, nothing happened. What we can do is change this slightly and say, well, if the answer is 24, so if the answer is equal to 24, now an important thing in if when we're asking a question, the equals isn't an assignment anymore. Remember before I said it was an assignment. Here, gets the value of, answer gets the value of the input converted to an integer. In an if line, if it begins with an if, this doesn't mean assignment. This doesn't mean get the value of anymore. It's is it equal to, which is a bit confusing. Some other languages you might have seen have a double equals for it to mean equals. VB, for better or worse, doesn't. It just has a single equals. So what this says is not if answer gets the value of 24, it says if answer equals 24, then, or is equal to 24, then you are a math star. Else, so otherwise, if it's not equal to 24, you are not a math star. Let's see if that works. So what is 28 plus 16? I've tried 24, I know it works. What if I type 25 now? You are not a math star. No. So there you go. There's asking a question. So to ask a question we use the if structure. And we can ask a question as we did at the beginning and just say, well, is this true? Is it equal to this? Then do that. We can make it a little bit more complex by having an else in as well and saying, well, is it equal to this? Then do that. Otherwise, you're not a math star. So there's a very simple way of asking a question.